Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. My mom asks me about twice a day when I'm gonna have kids, and it's just exhausting because I have no answer. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna. I thought I wanted to plan for it. I thought I was gonna want kids when I'm like 26, but then the closer I get to that, the more I'm like, let's push it back another 2 years. I don't see why I shouldn't do it when I'm maybe in my 30s. Like, I'm trying. Like, me and Melanie have basically given birth to our business baby, so it's like we're focusing on that.
Takes
and then
way more time.
it takes up 24/7, just as much as a baby.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want to actually delegate your time to and focus on?
I used to be like that. I think I remember actually there was just some conversation I had when I was up at my husband's parents' house, and I don't know, it must have been 24, 23 at the time. Like, I'm gonna have kids when I'm 26, and like it was just that was just, and that I just pulled it out of nowhere. Like, wasn't there was no reason why it was that age. I think it was just, again, the societal pressure of that makes sense to do it.
It sounds like an appropriate age.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It
Like,
is.
and because my mum had me at 26, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like my mum and do the same thing and follow the same path. And that's why I don't get her mentality. Why is she pressurizing me now when she had kids later than me?
Young. Yeah.
But her reasoning is, it's because you have a long-term partner. Which is such a bad
They just
reason.
assume, that you
That's so
should,
true. That's, no, don't do it because of that reason.
No, there's so many wrong reasons why people choose to have kids, which is the saddest part as well. Actually, I'm going to read some stories out later on, and it's kind of people that choose to have kids that shouldn't have kids end up neglecting their kids. And it just, then you just create a bad society filled with resentful people.
And just kids who are just neglected, which is like something to tap back on, like with, because I was the youngest of 5.
Yeah, let's bring
and
it
my
back.
mom was
Let's
a
bring
single
it back.
mom as well on top of that. So like we had like no father figure at all, like my entire life. And so my mom had to work all the time because she had 5 kids. And then my sister, my oldest sister, who was 15 years older than me, started having kids at 16. So not only that, my mom had to then help her out with her kids. Like, so my mom became a grandma, and then so on top of having her own kids, she was watching like all the grandkids and all of this. And I mean, in my mom's like perspective, like that's her purpose, is like raising kids. But in the sense, because she had us, she was never around, like in the sense because she had to work all the time so that we could live. And my brother, who was only 7 years older than me, or is 7 years older than me, babysat us all the time. So it was like me, my sister, who's 2 years older than me, and then my brother, who's 7 years older than us, just watching us all the time. And he was like, he has like severe ADHD, like, not so much anymore, but at the time he was nuts, and it was just like not the best influence at all. So I just felt kind of neglected all the time. Like, like I had problems with my speech when I was younger, like a little bit of a lisp, but I grew out of it. Like, everyone said she'll just grow out of it. Like, and stuff like with school, like I felt my mom had to work all the time, and when I started sports, she never really came to my games. Like, and so other parents would come to my games and would have to pick me up and drop me off and do all these things. And so I just felt really resentful towards her because I was like, why are they able to be here and you're not? Like, do you know what I mean? And it was to the point where I was staying with like my friends' families so much that one of the families actually approached me and tried to adopt me. Like, because it was like I'd been
Gives
with
me
them.
goosebumps. You talking about that?
I'd been with like pretty much living with them for like months, and like I didn't even really, I'm sure I did talk to my mom, but I don't remember it because they had like 3 other daughters as well. And so I just felt like it was like a family. Like they brought us to like all the games and all of that and everything. And so that was like kind of the moment I was like, do other people see this as well? Like, do you know, so obviously it's not just me who's noticing like she's not around kind of thing. And again, I don't hold any of this against my mom because I know she was working her hardest and managing a lot of things. It's just like it took me a long time to get over that kind of emotional like void, I guess. Yeah, and so I just tried to fill it with all the wrong shit for ages. Like really bad relationships, like, you know, yeah. So
Yeah, because it could maybe spiral into negative relationships because you don't know how you're supposed to interact with someone.
or you're just
what,
looking for anything.
Yeah,
like,
like what
just
love is supposed to look
love
like.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, obsession could be seen as affection.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people, unfortunately, do feel like that in relationships. You're right, it takes a long time to get over things like that. And it's funny you're talking about that. Although, so my parents have been together